shot in the movie where Tim Roth, who plays Thade, hears some bad news from one of his lieutenants, and as originally, so it sort of started at the level of he hears the bad news, he gets upset, and then there was this idea that Tim had to have at least one place in the movie where an ape would go what he always called ape shit. We had to have the ape shit moment in this movie, and so he decided that's where that place was going to be. So the first rewrite of that was Tim Roth gets furious and kind of storms around and slaps soldiers and gets more and more angry and aggravated. And the second version of that, Tim Roth climbs walls. And the third version of that came to Tim on the set one day, in which he realized that there was this flaming chandelier above the archway near where he's having his conversation with his lieutenant, where he hears the bad news. So it seemed just, like the simplest thing to Tim, and to him the most obvious thing, and to the rest of us a startling thing. So it's kind of a process that goes from original conception to kind of finally a Tim Burton moment.
Tim and I did two commercials together in Prague, which were in some ways very different from this, but had some similarities. And so when he approached me about coming on board, it was to really do something with apes that you could never have done at the time that the original was shot, which was to add some of the sort of ferocious speed and power that a real primate has. So we've done a lot of that with wire-assisted gags, decelerators, and the other thing that was never done in the original was the fact that we now have apes going on quadruped on all fours. So in our world, we're saying that the apes are on two legs for most of their time, but when they get either panicky, scared, or aggressive, or whatever, they revert back to their quadruped basis. Once you've set up that they're very powerful, they're very fast, it's really scary when there's lots of them streaming across the desert, and they can tear you apart. And we see them in front of your eyes. You see them overtaking galloping horses.